Welcome to Colombia! Hello, happy having you here in Colombia with you. My name is Frank, I live in Bogotá and I run a travel agency. Today I'm going to present you the ultimate travel guide to Colombia. Everything you need to know before coming to Colombia and then very valuable information when you're here. Before I start, down in the description sections you will find the agenda with the relevant time where I discuss which topic. This will help you if you want to skip some stuff, you don't want to see all the video. Also, I wrote a whole blog, all this, and there is more detailed information and according links and photos and videos, everything. Just search in your search engine for Pelecanos Colombia Travel Guide here. If you search like this, you will find the relevant article and you have a wonderful guide for Colombia. We are hosted today by the Hostel Graffiti in the historic center La Candelaria in Bogotá. It's a wonderful place. I'm here for the first time. And all over you have many graffitis, you have a great bar, you have great stuff inside, and that might be an option for you to stay during your days in Bogotá. So let's go into the real content. Top things to see in Colombia. When you're considering coming to Colombia, those are like the most important and most famous things to do or things to see. We start right away with Bogotá and Monserrate. This is the house mountain here in Bogotá. It's right next to La Candelaria. It's about 10 minutes walk. You can walk there, but some people might feel uncomfortable because on the way there are beggars. If you want to be on the safe side, take a taxi. It's a very short ride, or you can walk. I usually walk, I have no issues with that. And it's a great experience. You have overview over all Bogotá, which is huge. And you can either walk up, it's between 45 and 90 minutes, depending on your physical condition, or there are also two types of cable cars to get up and back down again. Then we have the Gold Museum, which is probably the most important museum in Colombia. It tells a story about the ancestors who lived in Colombia before the indigenous people, the Muiscas. And if you're considering to visit the Laguna of Guatavita, I'm talking about that later, you have to go there when you're in Bogotá. And it's also very close to La Candelaria. And talking about La Candelaria, yeah, this is also something you have to visit because not everybody will stay here within the city center. Many people prefer to stay up north. La Candelaria is the historic part of Bogotá. Here you have all those buildings in the colonial style, nice roads to walk, lots of coffee shops. You can have a coffee experience. Great place. I live here since 4 years, over 4 years, and I just love it. It's not for everybody, of course, but I like it. Then what to do actually here around? There's the famous graffiti tour, which is great, which is for free. It's on tip basis. It's twice a day, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. You'll find the link also in the blog. Outside of Bogotá, you will find the Salt Cathedral of Zipaquirá. It's a monumental building. It's one of the, actually it's the first wonder of Colombia, and it's a great experience. They built a cathedral into an active salt mine, and go, it's awesome. I love it. Then Villa de Leyva, about 4 hours driving up north from Bogotá. It's one of the heritage towns of Colombia, one of the most famous ones, one of the most beautiful ones. Very colonial style, a huge central square, perfect for spending 1, 2 or 3 days, also with some cool activities around the town. Then we go close to Medellin, Guatapé and El Peñol. Guatapé is the most colorful town of Colombia. It's really beautiful, it's tiny, and you have the reservoir, you can take the boat, driving around, and you have this big rock, which is called El Peñol. You can walk up all the stairs, and then you have an overview over the landscape, and it's just gorgeous. Be aware, on weekends and public holidays, it's packed. In Medellin also, Comuna 13, the former most violent and dangerous neighborhoods in the world, today is accessible for tourism. They have graffiti all over, they have a very beautiful story to tell. They have all the local stores, restaurants that make now a living out of tourism. Great tour. You should go if you go to Medellin. Then Cartagena. It's the tourist destination #1 of Colombia, I would say. It's the most touristic place of Colombia, and it's great for a couple of days. It's really impressive. They call it the Queen of the Caribbean. And then we go along the Caribbean coast to Santa Marta and the Tayrona Park. It's the most important national park of Colombia, which is the most touristic one. They have an entrance limit, so I think it's about 3,000 people. On weekends and public holidays, better to avoid, but weekdays, no issue. Also, you can purchase your ticket in advance. Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the biggest coastline mountains. They go from 0 up to 5,700 meters. Beautiful place, beautiful landscape, beautiful nature, lots to do. If you're going to Santa Marta, you should check it out. Then we also, around Santa Marta, we have the Lost City trip, La Ciudad Perdida. You can do it either in 4, 5 or 6 days. Normal people like me, 4 days is fine. It's some walking. It's not like super tough, but you need a minimum level of fitness. And it's not Machu Picchu. Many people compare it to Machu Picchu. It's very different, but it's beautiful. The infrastructure is very basic. I slept in a hammock, or you have mattresses, and you might have some bed bugs, you might have some bad water, you might have some... It's not perfect, it's an adventure, but it's awesome. I made it and I loved it. Then we go to the coffee triangle, Valle de Cocora. This is probably the most famous destination in the coffee triangle. You have the Valle de Cocora, perfect for hiking, and you have the wax palms, which is the highest palm tree in the world, and you find them there. And also you have national tourism on weekends and public holidays, better to avoid during the week. Perfect. It's a great destination. When you go to the coffee triangle, but not necessarily, you have that all over Colombia, the coffee experience. You can do coffee tasting. It's similar than wine tasting. The only difference is you're not getting drunk, but it's like very similar, the technique, because you also have to take the coffee in with lots of air to experience all the flavors. And then in combination with that, you can walk through where they grow the coffee, and they will explain you everything, the process of harvesting and growing coffee and the process steps. When you come to Colombia, coffee is something you need to do. Colombia is coffee and coffee is Colombia, so something you should experience when coming here. Then different festivals in Colombia. The most iconic one is the Carnaval de Barranquilla, usually in February. It's great. It's exhausting because during the day there's a parade and the whole night are parties, and it's a great experience. It's a big party. And if you're planning to come to Colombia and you want to see something great, you should plan to go to the Carnaval. Also, they say it's the second biggest carnival in the world after Rio. Then Punta Gallinas, the northernmost point of the continent. You go to La Guajira, and then you have to take 4x4 jeeps, and then you drive all the way up. It's desert, and you come to some dunes, and from the dune you can run directly into the shore. Awesome place, awesome experience. I want to go there again soon, actually. I've been there twice, and magic, just magic. Also, a Colombian safari. You can go to the Llanos. I went to departments of Meta and Casanare, and you can do horse riding, you can do all the cattle business, you can see chigüiros, anacondas, pumas, jaguars, birds. It's an awesome experience. It's one of my favorite plans in Colombia, and you will find more videos about that. Llano Safari, touristically, a small scale, so you will not see masses over there, and it's the cowboy land. It's just wonderful. Providencia Island, the Colombian Caribbean island. It's actually very far away from Colombia. It's on the level of Nicaragua, and it's paradise. You have the sister island, which is called San Andres, and you can compare it to Mallorca. It's mass tourism and mass drinking and party and stuff, but then you can take either the ferry, which is 4 to 5 hours. It's a catamaran. I tell you, I did it, and most people throw up. Also taking medication, when you take the boat before they give you some medication, but most people get seasick because it's a rough ride. So I recommend to you taking the airplane if going there, 20 minutes, and this island is just paradise. This is the end of the world. End of the world in Putumayo. It's a waterfall, and you have great nature. It's and just the waterfall. It's worth going there. It's great. Then Cañón Cristales, the river with the wonderful rainbow colors. I've seen many pictures and videos. Never been there. It's still pending, so I cannot tell you more about that. Whale watching in Bahía Solano. This is something awesome. Season is between June and November, and 100% you will see whales, and it's awesome. Now I will give you a little introduction about Colombia. Colombia is a mega diverse country, and that means there are many species, and also there are many endemic species. And that means those are animals or plants or whatever that you only can find here in Colombia. So I give you some numbers. You have 55,000 different species, and 9,000 are endemic. You have over 1,900 different bird species, and over 80 are endemic. Colombia has the size of France and Germany together, or California and Texas. So the country is huge. You have 3 mountain chains, the east, middle and west one. The temperature depends on the altitude where you're moving around, because it's so close to the equator. There are no seasons. There is rain or dry season. Then the country was inhabited long time before the Spaniards arrived, but they arrived 1499. And 1819 it was liberated by Simón Bolívar, and then he created this Gran Colombia, which was Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. Today we have a population of approximately 50 million. In Colombia there are 2 coasts. There are the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And the altitude is from level 0 up to 5,700 meters. The currency is the Colombian peso. Then on the blog, which you find on the homepage, you will see all the cities which are directly connected to Colombia, so where you have direct flights from. I will not name them, but those are all the airports with direct connection, and we will go to the cities. So I will tell a little bit about the cities in Colombia. Bogotá. Bogotá is on 2,600 meters above sea level. This is 8,600 feet. It has a population of over 10 millions, and it's huge. Public transportation is bad. Traffic is the worst in the world, but there's lots to do, and I love Bogotá. Although there is lots of pollution, nature around it is quite great. The temperature is between 7 and 20 grades Celsius, which is 44 to 68 Fahrenheit. Weather is mostly cold, and in one day you can experience sun, rain, hail, thunderstorm, sun again, It's mountain weather, totally unpredictable. Then you have different zones. The tourist areas, or where the tourists actually move around, it starts in the city center, La Candelaria, and goes up to Calle 120, which is Usaquén. Everything in between is like where you can move around. You have a city center with La Candelaria, and here it starts at like Calle 5. I have to explain. You have Calle, which means street, and you have Carrera, which also means street, but it's a different name. And you have here the mountain chain, and you have Carrera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up north, you count up, and back south, you count down. So La Candelaria starts at like Calle 5 until Calle 16, and this is the historic part. Then the next you will find is La Macarena, which is also cool because there are many restaurants. And then you come to Chapinero and Chapinero Alto, which is cool for going out. Chapinero is also the gay place in Bogotá, where you have, for example, Teatron, which is the biggest gay club in Latin America. It's great. And then you come to the Zona G, which is great with restaurants. It's one of the most expensive areas to live in. You also have the Four Seasons Casa Medina there. It's a place I like. It's very safe to walk around, but on weekends in the evening it gets very quiet. Then you come to the Zona Rosa or Zona T, which is starts street Calle 75 to like 90, and there you have all the clubs and discos and bars, and on weekends that's the place you want to go. Then you have Parque 93. It's also a very expensive area to live in. It's quiet with a nice park. And then you have Usaquén, which was formerly a town which was swallowed up by the city. And this is actually where you move around as a tourist in Bogotá. The thing is, when you're interested in culture and history and everything, you would prefer to stay in La Candelaria, because all the history and tourist sites are here or close to La Candelaria. If you want to go shopping and you want to go partying and stuff, it might be a good option to stay more north. Also, if you want to have luxury, the luxury hotels are more north. In La Candelaria you have all the hostels, for example. Also, if you're planning to do activities, playing golf or going Zipaquira, Guatavita, Villa de Leyva, you have to go north, so that might be also an option or a reason why staying further north. Arrival at the airport, very important. When you get out of the baggage claim, there are waiting many people, and also transportation services or taxi drivers, and they're yelling, "Taxi, taxi, taxi!" Leave them alone, just walk outside, and there's the official taxi stand where you see people lining up and taking a taxi. The taxi usually costs between 20 and 30,000 from the airport to La Candelaria. If they charge you 50,000, something's wrong. Also, don't necessarily bring foreign currencies to Colombia. Don't go and exchange money at the airport. With your debit card, you can easily withdraw Colombian peso. You will have the better exchange rate, and you can make several withdrawals. I think the maximum is 700,000. Medellin, also a main tourist destination in Colombia. It's on 1,500 meters above sea level, 5,000 feet. It's called the City of Eternal Spring. Climate is very good. It might rain sometimes, but climate is very comfortable. It's between 10 and 35 grades Celsius, 50 and 95 Fahrenheit. And in Medellin live about 4 million people. It has an advanced transportation system, and it's probably the most advanced city in Colombia. Then we have Cartagena, which is on the Caribbean coast. It's hot, it's humid, and it's a destination you should go to. Cali! Who has heard about Cali? It's the capital of salsa. Everybody dances salsa in Cali. A taxi driver once told me, if you as a man don't know how to dance salsa, you will never marry. I can imagine it's very true. It's situated on 1,500 meters above sea level, 4,900 feet. It has 2.5 million inhabitants, and the temperature is very comfortable, 18 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is 64 to 86 Fahrenheit. Cali is still within the 40 most dangerous cities in the world. I've been there several times. I think the tourist areas are good, but don't just walk somewhere or go to the suburbs. Cali is not the safest place in Colombia. Then Santa Marta, also a very famous tourist destination, not just because of Santa Marta, which is called the oldest city of Latin America because the Spaniards arrived there. There are also some activities to do. You can go to Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, which is this huge mountain chain. Then we have Bucaramanga. That's the capital of the department of Santander. This to me is the department for outdoor sports. Bucaramanga is a great city. It's not too big. It's on 950 meters, so it's quite warm, between 18 and 30 degrees Celsius, 65 to 86 Fahrenheit. Has a population of 500,000, and I like the city. You can do golf, you can go to La Mesa, you can go to the Canyon de Chicamocha. Good place, international tourism, very, very small. Valledupar, that's the capital of the Vallenato, which is a music style in Colombia, very famous. It's the capital of the department of Cesar, and the landscape there is beautiful. You have the mountain chains and you feel like somewhere around the Rocky Mountains or the Swiss Alps. And we have Pereira. Pereira is probably the center of the Coffee Triangle and has a very good climate. It's also a small city, 450,000 inhabitants on 1,400 meters. When you go to the Coffee Triangle, you might go to Pereira and pass it. Then we have San Juan de Pasto, which is the capital of the department Nariño, and this is to the very south of Colombia. It borders with Ecuador. It's cold, but the landscape is awesome, and you might go to Nariño and also visit Pasto. Then Manizales is also one of the towns of the Coffee Triangle. It's the capital of Caldas, and also a great point to start different things, because you can go to El Nevado de El Ruiz, you can go to Salamina, you can go to coffee plantations, bird watching. Manizales is a good point. The thing is with the flights, usually we fly our guests to Pereira because about 50% of the flights to Manizales get cancelled because of the weather. Armenia, that's also a city of the Coffee Triangle, and it's the warmest one and the biggest one, and you have great restaurants and so lovely people. It's awesome. I like Armenia. Popayan, it's called also the White City. It's probably one of the most Catholic places in Colombia, and it's a gorgeous city. I describe it usually as Cartagena, but in a much better climate zone. It's mostly car-free, the city center, and it's beautiful. Then we have Yopal. This is the capital of Casanare, and actually the starting point for going to Chano Safari. It's with its 150,000 inhabitants. It's not that big, but it's hot. It can get up to 35 degrees. Then we have some typical backpacker destinations in Colombia. I give you a brief overview. The first one is Salento. That's in the Coffee Triangle, and if you go to Valle de Cocora, you have to pass through Salento. You have many hostels and restaurants and bars. To me, it lost a bit of its culture because many foreigners, they buy property and make hostels, and you have parties, and to me it's not a sustainable model, and usually I send clients more to Finlandia, but a typical backpacker destinations to party is Salento. Then you also have Palomino, which is next to Santa Marta. It's also kind of hippie destinations, but there are many hostels, yoga. It has its magic. The sea is a bit rough, so it's not the perfect spot for swimming, but if you're interested in that, you should check it out. And Minca, also very close to Santa Marta, that they've developed a lot in the recent years because the climate is much better or a bit cooler than in Santa Marta, and it's pure nature. There's lots to do, but also today many hostels, backpackers are attracted by that site. Then Taganga, Sodom and Gomorrah, I call it. I've been there the first time 2009, and it was already by then a party place, and today it's very famous for party, drugs, prostitution, and you know, actually it's very sad because in Taganga you have some great spots where you can see sunrise or sunset, eat something, drink something, but the development of Taganga is not good. It's the ugly face of tourism. But still, it's a typical backpacker destination. Then we have San Gil, which is the capital of adventure sports in Colombia. You can do rafting, you can do paragliding, you can do biking. All outdoor activities, San Gil is the place to go. Then we have the tourist destinations away from the crowds. So we have La Guajira, which is the desert. And you can go up to Cabo de la Vela, and it's an awesome journey and awesome landscape. Touristically, on a very low level, awesome, magic place. Then we have the Llanos, Casanare, and the Llanos in Meta, which same but different. It's similar, but in the Meta you have more influence from the Amazon, and you can go on the Llanos safari and see all those animals, horse riding. Wonderful place. And tourism on a very low scale. Then you have the Chocó, Pacific Coast. Most of the Chocó, it's nature, and most of the Chocó, it's a no-go zone because you have armed groups or narcos, or it's dangerous. But there are actually two destinations. It's Bahia Salano and it's Nuki, where you can go safely, and great experience, whale watching, enjoying Pacific Coast, great food, nature, and it's just beautiful. Then you have the Amazonas, and the thing about Colombia and the Amazonas, you not only have Leticia, you also have other destinations, for example Me Too, and this is also Amazonas, and still there is not so much tourism going there, and maybe we should go soon because the Amazon is shrinking, not only in Brazil. Then we have the Department of Nariño, which is the department that borders with Ecuador, and you have volcanoes, incredible landscapes, and there's lots to discover. And you have Las Lajas. Oh, this cathedral, awesome. And you also can go to Tumaco, which is in the coast, which is a very interesting story. I will tell you maybe in another video. And there's lots to do. There's almost no international tourism and also national tourism on a very low scale. Luxury destinations. There is more, but I just picked some. We have Baru, where they have a Caribbean feeling close to Cartagena. Then you have Providencia, the wonderful Caribbean island. Then you have the Coffee Triangle, which offers some really luxury experiences. And of course, Barichara, to me, the most beautiful heritage town with all those beautiful buildings here in Colombia. Playing golf in Colombia, of course! In Colombia you also can play golf. You have over 50 golf courts all around the country. Alone here in Bogotá you have more than 10, and if you're interested in golf, I can give you more information about that. History and culture. We have 17 heritage towns in Colombia. That means not only 17 towns that are beautiful, but this is a club of 17 towns. I've been to some of them, and I just give you the name, the ones I would recommend to visit. Barichara, Jardín, Monpós, Monguí, Salamina, Santa Fe de Antioquia, Villa de Leyva. Those one I recommend, and I know. Then we not only have 7 wonders in the world, no, we have 7 wonders in Colombia. And the first one is the Sal Cathedral in Zipaquirá. Wonderful. Then the second one, Las Lajas in Nariño, in the south of the country. Then you have in San Agustin the archaeological park. Then you have all the military defense in Cartagena, which is number 4. Then you have number 5, Lost City, Ciudad Perdida. Then you have number 6, Tierra Adentro, which I don't know. Then you have number 7 in Bogotá, Teatro Cristobal Colón. That's very beautiful. And you're coming to Bogotá anyway, so you should visit that. Transportation in Colombia. As I already explained, Colombia is very, very, very big. And because there are so many mountains and because there are no highways and little tunnels, terrestrial transportation is very slow. When I'm driving around the country, my average speed is like 40 kilometers an hour. So I recommend you flying, and flying is very cheap depending when you book. And you have different airlines. You have Avianca, you have LATAM, you have Satena, you have EasyFly, you have Wingo, and you have Copa. And don't forget, if you need like more detailed information with all the links, you will find it. Go to the search engine and type in Pelecanus Colombia Travel Guide, and you will find it right away. So flying is very cheap. You can get almost everywhere. If you want to take the bus, you have overnight buses. You can get everywhere in the country. That's also no issue. And you also will find more links in the blog for the bus companies. If you want to get around in the city, you can use the public transportation. In Medellin it's good, it's the metro. In Bogotá you have the Transmilenio. Avoid peak hours. And you also can take taxi or Uber. And also cabs are a good way to get around. It's cheap. We usually recommend people to call it by app or phone, or asking somebody to call it for you in a hotel or shop or something. What's the best time to go to Colombia? Surprise, surprise! There is no best time to go to Colombia because Colombia is great all year round. There are just some dates I recommend you to avoid. This is Christmas until the 15th of January and Easter week. And why is that? During the public holidays, Christmas, New Year, everybody closes their business and all the people, they go with their family, so there's no nightlife, no restaurants. There is, but very little. If you here during that period of time, you should go to the most touristic destinations like Cartagena, Santa Marta, Villa de Leyva. There you have some offer, but even in a city, 10 millions in Bogotá, Christmas, everything closes down because we are in a very Catholic country, and those holidays on Christmas are very important, and everybody will spend time with his family. How to choose the best travel agency to travel to Colombia? If you're a backpacker, you don't need a travel agency because you have lots of time and no money to spend. So you can organize your trip yourself by researching. But something to say, information you find on TripAdvisor and information you find in different travel blogs, I found out much of it is total crap. Because people, they just write something and they have no clue what they're talking about. So you find within the best beaches or best restaurants, you find totally false information. If you want to travel with a travel agency, I recommend you to travel with a specialist. And not necessarily with the travel agency from your country, but maybe you should look for one here in Colombia that knows their stuff, their country, and can organize your stuff properly. For people who want to have a quality travel, I actually recommend to use travel agencies. It gives you much more comfort, much more security. Safety in Colombia. In the 90s, Colombia still was very dangerous, and everybody all over the world still thinks Pablo Escobar is the president of Colombia, which is total bullshit. Colombia changed so much and it's very safe today. It's a normal Latin American country. It's actually safer than many cities in the US. So there's no reason to think of coming to Colombia and getting murdered right away. No, that's wrong. We receive over 3.5 million tourists a year, and I never heard of issues besides of pickpocketing. My clients always were safe. And I'm traveling around all the country by car since 4 years. I never had one issue. Emergencies. If you have emergencies, then go to the police. You have a special unit which is called Policía de Turismo. You find them all over Colombia, and usually they speak a little English. If you get robbed or something, you always look for the next police station. The national helpline is 123. If you have a local SIM card, dial 123. I cannot promise you that they will speak English, but that's the national emergency number. So that's it. Travel guide to Colombia. I didn't discuss everything because otherwise this video would be 90 minutes. And if you want to see all the links, have more detailed information, go search for the travel guide in Pelecano's Colombia Travel Guide. And if you have any comments in the guide or for the video, write them below in the comment section, please. I'm more than happy to receive your feedback. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon here in Colombia, or at least back on my YouTube channel. See you soon and all the best. Greets from Bogotá, yours Colombiafrank.